Ananda Spurana or LBP level 1. See, when the Sutradhari, the person who designed the program is here, I just don't want to give you the program, I want to give you the sutra itself. How the program happened. The whole program is designed for giving life solution. Life solution and the meditation technique which will give you that strong experience of the chakra, which will, the chakra experience will constantly help you to live that life solutions. But here, you don't need to go through that program in that same way. I don't need to start there. Once upon a time, long ago, there was a war, after the world war. And how these acharyas start. How many of you have done ASP with acharyas? Good punishment. All right. So 7 major life solutions and 7 major meditation techniques. Now you will go through not just those meditations. I want on the same, for the same purpose, but a very deeper process you will go through. See, that whole ASP I designed for acharyas also to conduct. It means what? The possibility is very less, because there are many problems which teachers may not be able to handle. So the whole technique itself, whole thing itself is designed with minimum words, minimum technical terms, and the techniques which will give very little questions and effects. Naturally, when there is very little question, the technique also will give only very little effect, the preliminary effect. So now, you can say maybe like you will have advanced LBP. All the 7 subjects, I'll write it and put it in a cup. You pick up, I think I'll call the eldest participant. Eldest participant in IA, not Gardner, you are LBE. Eldest participant in IA or youngest IA? All right, we will call this guy. He will pick up any one subject. I'll start that subject. You can pick up any one slip. Don't pick up all 7. Wow. Picked up. Okay. Wow. Okay. This guy picked up the subject lust. Anyhow, first thing is first. What can be done? So, maybe for the new people I'll introduce, we have the 7 energy centers inside. Please be very clear. It is not just some metaphysical or some imaginary. It's actually, it exists as an energy center, physical. The 7, I can say liver is connected to one center, and heart is connected to one center, and thyroid is connected to one center. It's physical. So just understand, there are 7 energy centers. Each center is related to a particular emotion. When that emotion is properly functioning in your system, that energy center is completely open, energetic, available for you. When that center doesn't, when that emotion is properly not used or abused, the chakra gets disturbed. When that energy center gets disturbed, naturally disease related to that center starts happening in you. This is a whole science. So now, we are going to work on each emotion. By working on that each emotion, by understanding each emotion, I will remove many pins, many answers which you have, I will question them. I will question many answers you have and remove many answers you are carrying. That will create you the right Vedic mind for enlightenment. As these guys chose, we will start with Muladhara. First things first. Root chakra is related to lust. Basic quality of anything which survives is reproducing. Please understand. Anything which survives, basic quality of it, the basic quality of life is expansion. Basic quality of life is reproduction. Not just man reproducing man or animals reproducing animals. Even a poet will always try to reproduce more poets. An engineer will try to reproduce more engineers. An enlightened being will try to reproduce more enlightened beings. Reproduction, expansion is the quality of life. It's the quality of life. Reproduction or the expansion is the basic quality of life. Then how it became problem in human civilization? When it's a quality of life, then how it became problem in human civilization? Human beings are the only beings where all natural things becomes a big problem. No, really. Because we lost living with the simple body. Understand? Very beautifully Tantra describes the lust, the evolution of sex. Between 0 to 7, human beings will enjoy their own body. You will see all the time kids will be putting their thumb in the mouth. They will take the leg and start sucking. You can see. They will put the leg, feet in the mouth. Means they are enjoying their own body. That's the first level of the sex. The Muladhara is described as a 4-petal lotus. That's the first level. Enjoying your own body. Feeling comfortable with your own body. Settling with your own body. That's from 0 to 7. From 7 to 14, enjoying the friendliness, means the same sex, the friendship, enjoying the same sex body. That is a basic, anybody who grows naturally will enjoy the same body, the same sex. It's a natural instinct. You will naturally feel, you will not be able to take the jump directly to opposite sex. So naturally you will start enjoying the other body which is near the same sex, which is more or less almost you. So you start enjoying the same sex between 7 to 14. After 14 only you start enjoying, maybe I can say, the need for the opposite sex arises. Tantra very beautifully says, if a man goes through this whole process naturally, without getting into the mind, means without adding fantasies, just being physical, as I was telling today morning, just being physical, if he goes through between 0 to 7, 7 to 14, 14 to 21, by 21, he will have that ultimate sex, means ecstasy with the whole cosmos. He will become brahmachari. The idea of the Vedic sex or the idea of Tantra, I am describing very clearly. Between 0 to 7, enjoying your own body. Between 7 to 14, enjoying the same sex. And 14 to 21, enjoying the opposite sex. By 21, you will become brahmachari. You will be liberated. Of course, this does not happen anymore in the modern day. When we had Gurukul system, when we had the Vedic education, The man was liberated from the body by 21. 21 is ready. He is not bothered at all by anymore by the body. Unfortunately, when the mind interfered, when the accumulation of the fantasy started, first thing, the kids are not allowed to be comfortable with their body. When you put your hand in the mouth, what parents do? First thing, take it out. And that suppression first starts. First, that suppression only starts the problem in the Mooladhara. Then the next thing, only with human beings, mind plays a major role even in sex, which is a physical act. Even there, many people come and complain to me, Swamiji, the physical act itself is not that juicy, but the mental imagination or the fantasy looks so juicy, Swamiji. Means what? Most of your being is shifted. Most of your center is shifted to the mind. More cerebral. Your enjoyment has become more cerebral, not physical. Beautifully, Zen says, if you drink 1 cup of tea, intensely enjoying it, you will be liberated from tea. If you smoke once, intensely living it, physically, you will be liberated from smoking. If you drink once, intensely, physically, you will be liberated from drinking. Same law. Any emotion, when it arises, only if your body moves, mind does not respond, you will be liberated from that emotion. Understand? This is the key. Let your body move with that emotion, not the mind. Let your mind not add something or delete something. The big problem is with the sex. You add so much. Mind adds the whole thing to it. When it is not juicy, you pick up some magazine, some idea, something from media and try to add juice to it. Even though you know it is the same boring act. No, sometime after the middle age it is the same boring act. But you want to add juice to it. So you need fantasy. You need fantasy. You are adding fantasy to it just to add juice to the act. Then naturally, you are adding, like I can say, you are adding more fuel than your body can burn. So after that, what will happen naturally? That remaining fuel will continue to be there, constantly boiling your system. So adding fantasy is the first negative act done by the human being to destroy their sex life. Otherwise, which would have been a simple, pure, beautiful life. The basic disturbance done to your root chakra, Mooladhara chakra, is constantly adding fantasy. I tell you, if you are just physical, when that emotion arises, just if you are in the act, without bringing your memory into the scene, sometime you add hatred. When you don't want the act, means you may not hate the act itself, but the bondages and after effects which that act brings. And the persons with whom you need to relate because of that act, person with whom you are bound because of that act, when you start hating all that, that hatred reflects on the act. The hatred also is a negative fantasy. Whether it is negative fantasy or positive fantasy, when the mind plays a role, the sex becomes lust. Sex becomes lust. Even the suppressed guy is filled with lust because he is afraid of the act. Not only act, he may not be exactly afraid of the act, the things related to act, the responsibility which comes with the act, the persons with whom you need to relate because of that act. So naturally, all those fears lands up into suppression and it becomes lust. Whether you add positive fantasy or negative fantasy, you are disturbing your root chakra. So the basic click or the basic truth you need to know, physical sex is the quality of human being. Understand? It's the quality of human being. First thing, understand, just being physical without letting the memories into you, without engaging, entertaining the memories into you, then what will happen? You will come back to your normalcy. Then the meditation will do the job of transforming, if you need to transform at all. Actually, if simple physical sex will never bring any problems into your life. If you think it brings problem and you want to go beyond, always there are meditation techniques or the spiritual techniques to go beyond. One more important thing, sex is the most beautiful energy because it can be transformed. No other energy can be transformed that easily. No other energy can lead you to that high ecstasy, even if it is transformed. Love or fear or worry or the comparison, all these emotions, they are not that deep in you. They are not that deep in you. Even if they are transformed, the effect of the transformation will not be that peak. You will not experience that peak. But the sex, just because of its depth, it leads you to the highest peaks. It's your life. It's your very life. So it can naturally lead you to the highest peak if it can be transformed. Two levels we can handle the sex. One, bringing it back to its natural level, means removing the fantasies. Constantly decide very clearly, I am not going to mother the fantasies which are filling my being. Just that's all, nothing is needed. You don't have to fight, you don't have to visualize there will be Manmada, the Cupid, standing in front of you with a bow and arrow. He will send arrows on you, it will come and fall on you, and you will have to fight with it. No. Just decide, from today, I am not going to mother the unnecessary fantasies. Otherwise you have all weird imaginations, fantasies about Cupid. In India we call him Manmata. In all cultures that God is there, the God of love. And in India we call him Manmata. We have all kinds of weird ideas about Manmata. He appears with a sugar cane bow and flower arrow, and he goes in the fish flag, the flag with the fish mark. Anyhow, you don't have to think all those things. Just decide, simple thing. I am not going to mother the unnecessary fantasies which is happening in me because I mothered earlier. It's not happening just like that. It's not that somebody else has put that inside you. There is no Manmata actually. Except you, there is no Manmata. Except you, there is no other Cupid. So, if you are stupid, then you will have Cupid, that's all. There is nobody else there, sitting and sending arrows on you, putting nothing. Bring it back. Bring it back to its original form, physical. Let us handle physical problems physically. Do not make physical problems into mental problem and try to handle it. As on now, we made our physical problem into mental. Not a problem, physical emotion into mental. By adding so much of fantasies. Now, adding so much of fantasy, it becomes cerebral layer now. Your whole brain is filled with fantasies. We made the whole thing mental. Made the whole problem into mental. Too much of fantasies. So first decision I want you to take. Decide not to mother the fantasies. Understand? Not only the problems of lust. Actually, this is the root of all relationship problems. Almost all relationship problems starts from here. When you have too much of fantasy and you try to chisel the other person, and naturally you can't chisel the living being. Not only you can't chisel the living being, she is also carrying another chisel and the hammer. She is standing with the chisel and the hammer, and you are standing with the chisel and the hammer. And both of you are standing with the chisel and the hammer. And the whole house is constantly filled with chiseling sound. From morning till night, whatever you hear in your house is nothing but the chiseling sound. It goes on tuck, 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 tuck. Sometime you are tired of chisel and the hammer, you take the grinding machine. To do all the rough cut, you use grinding machine. So it's just because the depth of fantasy is more. When the depth of fantasy is more, you can't live with the real person. Real person will continuously look ugly. Really. With the depth of fantasy, real person will be looking really ugly. When you drop the fantasy very beautifully, the Bhashyakara of the Sutras, Shiva Sutras, there is a beautiful 2-3 Bhashyas. One Bhashyakara writes, with the depth of fantasies, with too many layers of fantasies, in the house, 4 of you guys are living together. Your fantasy about your spouse, your spouse's fantasy about you. 4 persons cannot live happily. Too much. 2 itself too much. And 4, how to live? That is why constantly the dissatisfaction, constantly you are feeling you are exploited. So you have your own fantasy and you try to fulfill your fantasy through her. And she has her own fantasy and she is trying to fulfill her fantasy through you. They tried to reduce the number of people in the house from 4 to 3 by not letting fantasies into women. But now in the modern day, it became the women's freedom movement. Of course, I am not agreeing that they should not have fantasy, or all I am saying is both should not have. Slowly, the freedom movement, naturally now they have their own freedom. Freedom means what? To do whatever men are doing. So naturally they also accumulate enough of fantasies, and now 4 are living in the house, sometime even 5, 6. Because sometime you have fantasy about the same person, 2, 3 fantasies about the same person. 2, 3 different self-contradicting fantasies. You want that person to be in some way at some time, some other way in some other time. Completely opposite 2, 3 characters. Completely opposite 2, 3 personalities you are expecting from the same person. So naturally, the whole thing becomes chaos. Understand? The fantasies not only reduces sex to lust, and it creates enough of hell in your day-to-day life through all the relationship problems. All relationship problems are just because of the fantasy layer. This is in the normal sense. If you go a little deep, fantasy is responsible for seeing this God as the world. Please understand. Jagat, whatever you are seeing is God. It appears as a world because of your fantasy. Without fantasy, what is will be seen as is. Please understand. The waking state now, what you see as the world is made out of the same stuff which you experience as the dream in the dream state. In the dream state, if you see this hall, I think many of you are seeing now in that state only. At least few I can see very clearly. The way in which they are sitting. If you see the same hall in the dream, in what stuff this hall is made, in the same stuff now also this hall is made. Please understand. The same wax, now this hall is made, and when you fall into the dream, again it's collapsed and made out of that same wax, this hall is made. Then when you fall into deep sleep, it just collapsed and it's available in the form of a big bunch of wax, that's all. One load of wax, that's all. When you are seeing this whole thing as a load of wax, it's called deep sleep state. When you see the same wax, maybe a little less frequency, you can call it dream state. A little different frequency, the same wax, the waking state. When you realize that wax is an energy, you are experiencing the fourth state, the enlightenment, God. Wax is seen as wax and the object because of your lust, fantasy. Please understand. If you just remove the fantasy, the same hall will not be seen as the same hall as you are seeing now. You may think, what do you mean, Swamiji? If you remove the fantasy, you will understand. The very things which you are seeing will be completely different, because the fear and greed on which your whole mind is strung, fear and greed as the pin on which the string diagram is done, that pins will become different. When the pins become different, the diagram will be different, and you will see things differently. Understand? The same lust I am talking in the different angles. One, because you add fantasies into your being, not only adding, constantly mothering. One nice thing with fantasies, if you don't mother it 14 days, it will leave your system. Understand? I am giving you some of the important clicks. If you do not mother that fantasy for 14 days, for example, you may have a fantasy with some particular person, or with some particular situation, or background, or act, something. If you do not mother that fantasy for 14 days, decide consciously, I am not going to mother that fantasy. Mother that fantasy means not going to entertain when it comes, including dream. Even in dream, if it comes up, I am going to consciously say, I am not going to mother you. Relax. Just for 14 days. If you don't mother any fantasy, it will just disappear. It will not come inside your inner space anymore at all. Please be very clear. When I say, I really mean. You may think, just 14 days. Looks too simple, Swamiji. I struggled with too many things, too many techniques. Understand, when you struggle, you already mothered. Maybe mother-in-law, that's all. When you are encouraging it, you are mothering it. When you are fighting with it, you are mother-in-lawing it. So whether you are mother-in-lawing or mothering, you are mothering. So be very clear. Neither mother nor mother-in-law it. Even I am surprised how all these things are coming out. Now I designed one more word. Coined one more word. Neither mother the fantasies nor mother-in-law the fantasies. So be very clear. 14 days, do not entertain even to fight with it. Just 14 days, enough. You will see the power or the influence of that fantasy on you will disappear. It will disappear. That's the first thing. Second thing, because of the fantasy only, you are constantly trying to fight with everybody. The constant irritation you are carrying, not only about your spouse, even about your kids, your parents, about everybody you carry a fantasy. Again, that fantasy is also stored in the same Mooladhara Chakra. Even if you don't have fantasies with your spouse, your fantasies about your kids and parents can continue to disturb you, irritate you, can continue to disturb your Mooladhara Chakra and continuously create problems inside you. So do not carry, do not mother fantasies about anybody, how they should be, how things should be. Do not mother. This is a second layer. Third layer, the world is seen as the world because of your deepest layer of fantasy. The deepest level, if you stop mothering the fantasies which are raising in you, even about the world, you will stop seeing the world as the world. Please understand. Anything you see is because of the fantasies you mothered. Because of the fantasies you mothered. Anything, even this hall, if you see it's ugly or it is good, it's looking beautiful, anything you use, any idea you carry, it is nothing but your fantasy. So in the deeper level, dropping the fantasy will lead you to enlightenment itself. First, if you drop the fantasies, the first superficial level, your lust will come back to its original source of sex. Means you will become a normal human being. If you drop fantasies, the sex level, your day-to-day relationships, your day-to-day life will become more sweet. I tell you, when you drop fantasies and live with a real spouse, she will look like Apsara, means celestial being, and he will look like Shiva himself. Now, you will not have, see, actually, if you are aging gracefully, such a strong, intimate feeling with the other person will be there. You may not have physical relationship, but such a strong, intimate feeling connection and the respect for the other person will be there. The other person filled you. Other person was fulfilling you. The other person added something to you. Without fantasy, when you look at the other person, you will really feel the other person is divine. Other person will become sacred. The spouse will become sacred. Now, scared. All you need to do is just move the A. That's all. If the A is in A before the C, things are sacred. If the A moves next to C, then scared. Be very clear. Actually, if you are growing, if you are aging gracefully, the other person will look sacred. Feeling the other person sacred is the fulfillment of sex. And the next level, if you drop the deepest layer of fantasy, not only you will feel the other person, the whole world as sacred, divine, because you will not see the world as you are seeing now. It's a very deep level of the Mooladhara Chakra. 3 level. First, the superficial level, if you drop your fantasies, the fantasies which you are continuously acquiring from media, website, books, cassettes, TV, cinema, all these things, if you drop that, you will see your lust becomes sex, means physically you are enjoying. Your whole body feels fulfilled. Every pore of your skin feels ecstatic. When you are physically in the act, it is so deeply fulfilling. But if your whole energy is in the mind, fantasy, the physical act will never be fulfilling and the fantasy can never be fulfilled. It will constantly be an hangover in you. It will be a constant hangover. It will be a constant hangover. You will see you are trying to act out too many things through the body which can't be done. So the constant hangover or unfulfillment becomes part of you. The constant unfulfillment or hangover is what I call feeling low or depressed, dull in the young age itself. Many youngsters come to me around the age of 35, 40. They come to me and they say, we want to take sannyas. If I hold their hand and see, there's load of fantasies in them. You may think, then why do they want to take sannyas? Because they feel very clearly it can never be acted out. It can never be acted out. But with that base, your sannyas will never be a sannyas. With that base, your spiritual life will never be a spiritual life. The load should disappear. The lightness of the being, understand, you can see very clearly. Ramakrishna says very beautifully, He will hold the hand of a person. If it is heavy, he will tell them, no, this fellow is lustful. Means filled with fantasies. He can't do anything. Actually, when the fantasies are dropped, physically you will feel you are light. Physically you will feel you are light. The people who see you walking, they will feel you are graceful. You will be physically light and alive. You can see very clearly your body is light. You are just floating. You are just floating. Even your movements will be so graceful. Physically people will feel you are moving in the breeze. You are just moving in the air. First layer. When you drop the superficial fantasies, your lust will become sex. You will become intense in the physical life, instead of always living cerebrally, mentally. Second thing, if you drop even that fantasies, in that layer, second layer fantasies, suddenly you will see all the relationship problems will disappear. The other person will look sacred. And third, when you drop deeper layer, you will see even the whole world will look divine and sacred. The world will not look as world. Very beautifully Upanishad says, just because of Kama, the Ishvara looks as Jagat. You project Jagat on Ishvara because of your Kama. You project whatever you want to project on the screen because of your lust. Otherwise, the screen is a screen. Understand? This whole cosmos is painted on the conscious screen. Consciousness is the screen. Time is the paint. The Prakriti, nature is the painter. Because of lust, this painting continuously happens. When you look inside and ask, why is this painting? Suddenly you will realize there was never a painter and the painting and the paint. Only because of your lust, you are constantly seeing the painter, painting and the paint. You may think, me removing fantasies may create good relationship between me and my spouse. That I understand, logical. But how can that develop my view of this Anand Sabha and the world? Remove, you will see. You will see. Everything will add ecstasy to you. Everything will add joy to you. I tell you, intense lust without being directed to one object or genitals is what I call living enlightenment. Understand? I am defining living enlightenment. Intense lust not directed to just genitals, which is directed to every pore of your body, and not directed to one person or the object, which is overflowing on everything, is living enlightenment. Now, when you add fantasy, you give direction to your lust. Means the blinkered horse. You give direction to it. It becomes genital. When it becomes genital, naturally, it is directed towards one person or one object, one situation. When it is reduced to one person, situation or object, you will feel deep unfulfillment. Even if you feel the fulfillment at that time, you will feel you are bound by that person. Understand? Always when you are bound by somebody, you will entertain a deep hatred and vengeance against that person, because that person is binding you. Unconsciously, you will constantly entertain vengeance and violence against that person, because that person is binding you. You are bound by that person. Your joy is dependent on somebody, means you will take revenge on that person. Be very clear. You will. So be very clear. When you are removing this layer and layer and layer of fantasies, you will see your lust becomes sex, means physically you become joyful. the act brings you tremendous satisfaction. Second thing, second important transformation will happen in you. Your relationship will become beautiful, very beautiful. Not only with your spouse, with everything. The third layer fantasy is removed. The whole thing will become divine, sacred. These are the ideas I want you to understand. Few ideas. Now, many times people ask me, Swamiji, my layer of fantasy is too much. Can I get rid of it? Never bother. Any amount it can be. It can be just burnt. After all, it is not there. Fantasy means what? Which is not there. Record of which is not there. So it's a lightlessness. Lightlessness is a darkness. So just bring one light. That's enough. It will disappear. This newcomers' questions I'll answer. On these few truths which I expressed.
What about leaving all the expectations from wife? Is it possible? You're talking the same thing? Like fantasies and all the expectations, if we are living together, wife and husband, can we leave complete all expectations from the wife?
No, it will never happen. You can neither fulfill her expectation, neither she can fulfill your expectation because it is constantly changing.
So we
See, if there is a goal point, target, you can run and reach there. By the time you start running, that is also running. By the time you fulfill 2-3 fantasies, already you have 7-8.
So from now I should decide that expectations should be
Decide. You will not mother fantasies. And you will see, you will have so much of sacred feeling with her. When you drop the fantasies, decide, you will have so much of sacred feeling, just the touch will be so sacred. That sacred feeling will start raising in you. Just physically decide, not mentally. Let your muscles decide. When I say physically decide, tell your muscles. It will disappear. You are after all first day here now. We will do the job. You just decide physically. I will take care of the mind. Yes.
Swamiji, what about personal improvement? We fantasize and then we improve.
No. Anything which happens because of fantasy is not worth happening.
Swamiji, that is the way companies grow. They target something and then 100%.
That is why companies don't grow. Understand? If you fantasize and grow, company will grow only at the level of your fantasy. If you drop fantasy and grow, company will grow up to the level of your energy.
Okay. Sir, what you said about fantasies, about spouses and dropping them.
No, not dropping the spouses, dropping the fantasies.
Sorry. No, I think it's misinterpreted. See, dropping the fantasies is difficult, but we also realize that the fault lies with us by not dropping those.
No. See, first, do not bring the word, it is difficult.
No, listen.
It is not difficult at all.
Let me complete my question. The question part is, that is very easy to visualize whatever you have told. It's quite possible and it is truth. Unfortunate part is, with our level of thinking, I am not able to understand how you can universalize the droppage.
Universalize?
The dropping of these fantasies beyond the example.
Scenes. Now, what you are seeing, this creates certain level of fear and greed in you. The depth of these scenes or the clarity of the scenes is dependent on the level of fear and greed you experience. Let me give you one example. One guy goes to neighbor village and comes back. From the distance he saw his house is on fire. And he started shouting, crying, "Oh, my house is on fire, please save me, who will save me, my life is gone." He started rolling on the ground. And you know how typical Indian villages cry. And he was crying, shouting. And his first son ran towards him and told, "Father, don't bother, yesterday only we sold that house, don't cry, it's not ours anymore." This guy stood up and wiped the tears and started laughing. And he was very happy walking. The next, after 2 seconds, the second son came and said, "We sold but we have not yet got the money." It's only verbal agreement. Then again he started rolling on the ground. No, no, my house is on fire, my house is on fire, my house is on fire, please save me, save me. And after a few minutes, third son came and told him, just now I deposited the money, we got the money. We got the money, only then the house is on fire. This guy stood up again and he wiped the tears, he's okay. Understand, same scene, same person, different experience because of the fear and greed. When it is mine, just that greed, the experience is different. Same situation, same person. When it is not mine, the experience is different. So the greed makes the whole thing different. Even though the world is same, the whole experience is different. The greed and fear not only makes the experience inside you different, the way in which world responds to you, even that becomes different. It's a very subtle, mystical truth. Very sharp, mystical truth. The other day I was reading in the website of this guy, Masaru Emoto. You know, there's a scientist in Japan who did research on how our thoughts directly affect the outer world objects. He did research on how our thoughts affect the water, and crystallized the water and took the microscopic pictures and proving. His latest research is, your thought not only changes the shape of the water, the particles in the water, he says even the chemical quality of the water changes. If you keep a glass of water next to you and create constant violent thoughts and have a violent discussion and drink that water, it creates poisonous effects in your system. I was shocked. This is the latest research. His research. Earlier he was only proving that the cell structure of that water changes, molecule structure of that water changes through the microscopic photographies. Now he says even chemical quality changes. This proves your fear and greed directly affects the way in which the world responds to you. So the subtlest truth is actually only if you experience 2-3 things which I am saying, you will be able to relate with what I am saying. The same object, see the same object, same situation, same thing, your fear and greed is different, that situation will be different to you. You will respond differently to it and that will respond differently to you. That is why I am saying the depth of fear and greed, depth of your fantasies plays a major role in seeing the world as you are seeing. If the depth is not there, you will just see the easiness. Understand? Actually, the LB we are doing a meditation, if the fantasy depth is not there, you will not even see the different boundaries. You are seeing this as a table, this as a laptop, this as a throne, this as a me. The different namings and labeling itself happens because of your fantasy. You may ask, then without that fantasy, how will I function? You can function without labeling because you were functioning till the age of 3 without labeling. Till the age of 3, you don't know language, you are not labeled, you are functioning. It is possible to function without labeling, or I can say, your whole mind will not be labeling it. Only the utility purpose you will label it. The emotional effect of the labeling will not be there on your inside your system. It will be like a clear, what to say that, words. It will not have the high resolution effect of that word on you. Now, with fantasy, things have become emotional memory. Even the Word document becomes high resolution pictures. Without fantasy, even the high resolution pictures will become Word document. If too many high resolution pictures are stored, hard disks will collapse. That's what I call depression, stress. If it's only Word document, any 1,000 number of Word documents can be handled. So without fantasy, you will see, suddenly the whole thing will become stress-free, sacred. The whole thing. See, when the world does not create fear in you, you will feel it's God. The civilization, society, human beings, world, because it creates fear in you, you see that as a world. When you are not threatened by it, you will very clearly feel it's God. Now you are threatened by it because you have fantasy for it. Your fantasies may not be fulfilled as you want, and world may do as it wants. You may not be able to cooperate with it. So that fear only makes the world as world. Otherwise, the world is God. When it is not threatening you, when it is just, when you are flowing with it, naturally what you will feel? Oh, this is heaven. It's God everywhere. I am just overflowing. It's a, I can say, you need to experience the glimpse of it. Like how you are saying that once in a while you experience the other person is noble, sacred. That same thing will happen, will start happening with everything. All right? You can internalize this concept, and any question you have, you can even write. We will have one more session on this, answering your questions. Yes.
All human beings are mammals, classified as mammals. And do you think animals don't fantasize though they are happy in their sex life?
No. They are neither happy nor sorrow. It is just instinct for them, like eating. It's recorded. It's a recorded memory. They are going through it. Their freedom is very less, whether to move the right hand first or left hand first. That's all. They don't have any more freedom. Their freedom is too limited. So in that, neither the joy nor the suffering is felt. See, the whole problem is, this is your instinct level. This is your instinct level. And for us, this much of area we have our freedom. So naturally, the depth of pain and suffering, this is the instinct. See, for human beings, I'll say HB, human beings, this is the level of freedom. So, the pain or suffering which you feel will be that depth. For animals, this much is only the freedom. It's a lot less. So their freedom is only this much. So their pain and suffering also will be only that much. So naturally, it is too negligible. Their pain or suffering is too negligible. So their fantasy depth also too negligible. It is just instinct based. That's all. But for us, the freedom is more. So the fantasy is more, the freedom to fantasize is more. The possibility is more. Suffering is also more. Joy is also more. Yes.
Swamiji, you said that this is one energy that can be transformed, and it can be transformed to a greater extent. And I don't really grasp that.
See, that is the intense energy which can move your body at any time. See, we have so many other emotions: worry, fear, comparison, love. All those emotions cannot physically move you. See the fantasy, this moment, physically you are ready. It can move your body. It can change your structure. It can change your dimension. It can change you. Means a strong energy. Deepest energy which you experience in your life is sex. The deepest cause which can move you is sex. Much more than money. Much more than money. Even money is a utility for sex. Much more than money. It can move, means that strong energy. So if it is transformed, same way it can put you in that peak. God is the Sahasrara, sex is the Mooladhara. It can just shift you to that corner, that end.
Hello. Swamiji, you explained that the degree of freedom in human beings is high. And That's why in proportion you have a higher degree of joy or pain. But then when you drop all the fantasies, aren't you dropping the freedom too? And
I can
and
say,
then,
only when you drop the fantasies, you retain the freedom to do what you want spontaneously. When you have fantasy, you have programmed your freedom and destroyed it. Now you will just repeat what you have programmed yourself, what somebody else was doing. How you took the fantasy from him or her, from that person, you will just reproduce it. You will just repeat it. It means he is living through you, not you through you. Understand? So only by having freedom, having fantasy, you destroy your freedom. By dropping the fantasies, you will have your freedom.
As life introduces itself, let's welcome it. With all the doors open, go beyond, where words can't go. 21 days in His presence, as He reveals truths. An invitation to visit the land of eternal bliss, heaven on earth, with the Master of the Millennium, Paramahamsa Nityananda. Register now for the special program, Inner Awakening, December 2nd to 23rd. Email innerawakening2009@gmail.com. Visit us at www.dhyanapitham.org. Phone 919731257960, 919742203311, 918027202801, or 918027202084. Nityananda Dhyanapitham, Bidadi, Bangalore, Karnataka, India 562109.